I think this wholesale ban is going to make people so much more money than people realize. Hey guys, in this video, I have Greg Hanna, and Greg and I have just done a double close deal together. I was the one who funded the money, and Greg was the one who brought the deal. And one of the reasons why Greg pivoted to doing a double close instead of assignment was because in middle of escrow, South Carolina says, "Hey guys, no more wholesaling. You guys can't wholesale deals anymore. Everything has got to be double close, or you have to have a real estate license." And Greg was like, you know what? I figured it'd be faster for me to do a double close than actually get my real estate license, which would take 3 months. So I wanted to highlight I want to highlight this deal. I wasn't really involved in it too much because I had a partner that was handling it. But Greg, what's up, man?
How are you, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. I love doing deals with people and I love highlighting people because I think what you did was so smart. Like just the fact that like like during like in middle of at the escrow process, you're like, you know what, I gotta do a double close. I'm gonna make less money, but I want to highlight the sellers. I want to help the sellers get the deal to the finish line, and I respect that about you. So, what was this deal about? Because I don't really know too much. I don't think I was really involved in it too much.
It was actually super funny, and it was, it was a deal. So we do a ton of business out of state. We're based out of Gilbert, Arizona. We're licensed realtors in Arizona, and we also buy across the nation. And most of our disposition process out of state, in addition to assignments, is novations and hiring realtors on market. So not only are we a lot of times able to put a little bit of more money in the seller's pocket this way, but we're able to bring agents into the deal, and we pay 6% because we're agents too, right? We want to work with the best of the best. We want to work with hustlers, and at the end of the day, what you have is a big team involved, and that's this deal that you funded is a perfect example of that. So it was an elderly lady. She really needed to get closer to family. She had another house that she was under contract on. We found that out actually about 30 days in. She didn't want to tell anybody that she was under contract on this other house. And it wasn't until the lender told her, like, hey, you have to be contingent to buy this house.
Right.
And she had a real estate agent that was representing her that had no idea about this contingency. So she called us wondering what's going on. Oh my God, are you a wholesaler? This is, oh my goodness, she doesn't even have the house actually sold. And I was like, hey, relax. Like we're not the run of the mill. We know what we're doing. We do this at scale. Tell me what's going on. So we had, I think 3 or 4 different agents, 2 different sellers, another buyer, right? All in the same transaction. And really, it looked like this deal was going south and was going to, be a dead deal 5 different times. But, it was a lot of people that really, at the end of the day, needed a job done. And, we ended up, the seller had, more in liens than they thought. And there was a million and one things that came up. We ended up only making, I think, 3 grand net, super similar to what you ended up making on the deal. But what was super important was it got to the finish line. Like it was a lot of people's lives that like that's the other thing about this is it's people's lives, right? So we were able to
Yeah.
really make a difference there.
I when that story is so similar to how I did how I did my first deal. I know this is not your first deal, but my very first deal, I get the house under contract, and I'm like, the seller's like, oh yeah, I don't owe anybody money. All right, well, let's see. So we pull a title search. There's like 4 liens on the house, and it's like 27 grand altogether, like water, city, and then there's some tax liens, and then some child support liens. And I was like, oh my God, I was gonna make like fat 20G assignment fee on this one. And then obviously, like the seller's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let the house go to foreclosure if I don't get the number I'm looking for. So I had to eat up those fees out of my personal pocket just so the seller can get the deal to the finish line. And then this was my very first deal. So like I picked the wrong escrow officer. No, sorry. Um, I was like, no, I did not pick the wrong escrow officer, but I was so careful that you know what?
Right.
I don't want to show the seller that I'm making, like, $20,000 or whatever. Because I told her, hey, like, hey, I'm not even making any money on this deal. So like, I'm just helping you out. And if she saw that I was making at least a couple $1,000, I felt like the seller was going to, um, you know, give out on me. So my margin was like 4,500 bucks, and I decided to do a double close just to make sure that the deal was not going to fall out on the last minute, right? So I on a
Yeah.
$4,500 assignment fee, I bring in a double close. I bring in somebody to do a double close for me, and like they charge 1%, and I'm like, wow, like my assignment fee is 2,300 bucks now, and I have to split that up with my partner. I just made 1,100 bucks.
I think I lost money on this.
I think I lost money on this, but you know what? It for me it was my very first deal, and I genuinely care about the seller getting what they needed, just like you.
Yep,
Like
yep.
you could have easily price dropped the seller. I could have easily price dropped the seller, but my seller was in a really tough spot. So I was like, you know what? Let me just help you out. And
Yep.
and that's what I really respect about you is like you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a double close because I want to make sure the sellers get the help that they need.
So we actually weren't going to double close this. We were told by the closing attorney that we had to because of the South Carolina law. It got passed like right in the middle of this, or they started talking about it, and for whatever reason, this closing attorney like got super scared about it, and they required the double closing. I think it was a week later, the wholesale law, like the ban, went into effect. So a lot, depending, there's a lot of different ways you can, go about it. And we've pivoted to a few different methods in South Carolina. But assignments are a no-no there. Like they are no longer.
So what do people in North Carolina, in South Carolina, what are they going to do now?
So, you can find attorneys that'll double close. There's a million and one YouTube videos that, will argue both sides of it, right? And at the end of the day, and this is my opinion, as long as you are, ethical, obviously, and you're following the rules and you're setting the correct expectations with sellers and you're not trying to pull one over on anyone, there's really nothing to be worried about. Like we just closed a transaction today in South Carolina that we didn't double close, and it was over $30,000, right? And it's completely legal. It's not in a gray area, right? It's just a specific type of contract. It's a different kind of, escrow process that you have to be familiar with. And really that's what we did is we just kind of got ahead of the curve and familiarized ourselves with the process, knowing that it was going to come up. And it's going to come up, South Carolina is not a state that you operate in. And a lot of people have stopped operations there. And, I completely understand and respect that. You know what I mean? We do a ton of business there. We already had. So for us to learn the ropes there and learn how to operate there was really important. And so far we have, and we feel really confident about it moving forward. And especially if any other state does this, right, we know how to respond. We know how to pivot.
Right, right. It's so interesting how you brought that up because a lot of people are exiting the market, right? Because they're like, I don't know how to pivot. And
Yeah.
you know in multiple facets, like you know how to make monetize on it, right? Like let's just say the homeowner, like you ask the homeowner, hey, I'm going to be assigning this contract, you're complete 100% transparent, and the homeowner signs some sort of disclosure saying, I'm okay with this being assigned. I don't see any problem with that, right?
Right.
But also it's like during the gold rush, do you want to go dig for gold, or do you want to sell shovel, right? Like I think my way of capitalizing, and for you it would be both, right? So you still wholesale the deal in South Carolina because it would be a lot easier for you because there's less people in the business. But if you also add another facet of your business saying, hey, like I'm partnered with Kevin, and Kevin and I can help you double close on the deal, like you monetize on it in two different ways.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no reason not to. And it's, pivoting to hiring agents and partnering with agents was something we went back and forth with because at one point, a while ago, we were flat feeing stuff. Like we tried that for a couple months, and just to save costs, right? But at the end of the day, it's a net positive to bring more people into deals, especially experienced people that bring value. When you can get a team, like a team of people working to get something done, right? There's, no downside to it, right? Or at least a lot more upside.
I think this wholesale ban is going to make people so much more money than people realize. Hey guys, real quick, I'm going live every single week in my school community to help answer everybody's questions because number one, I can't get to every single one of them in a timely manner. So click the link down in the description box below and I will personally help answer your questions. Right? Because
Yeah.
now you already, all those idiots are out of the business. People that know what you do, like people like you, me, like like my business model with my double close, and we do about like one or two double closes a week at the bare minimum, right? Like I'm speaking in Chicago all about double close, and now I might need to go to South Carolina and talk about how to double close your deals and like monetize it that way because like and I hate to keep bringing this up, but the fact that you only made $3,000 despite all the work, and then as a lender, who I mean, we brought in like I don't know what was it, a couple $100,000.
I
Um,
think, yeah, I don't even know. I think yeah, something like that. Not even.
yeah, and we only brought in a couple $1,000. And we made $2,000. Like you're like, okay, where's like my dollar per hour best spent at? And I think it was a learning lesson for you to like open up another facet of the active income.
Yep. A
Yeah.
100%. A
Yeah.
100%.
Where do you see other people like monetizing on this opportunity, like other than double close and doing more deals? Do you think that the buyers will slow down because there's less wholesalers going around, so like buyers don't have much choice?
It's kind of a, double-edged sword. In, a lot of markets, they may, you can make the argument that because interest rates are so high and because it's so hard to find, good cash flowing properties, investors are really eager to put their money into fix and flip stuff, right? And you can make the argument that there's a really exciting time and a lot of money to be made, right? That's coming up.
Right.
On the flip side of it, right? There's a lot of fear. There's always going to be the fear, right? And, the more realistic side, I don't know if that's the right word, right? But on that side of it, people are always going to need a place to live, right? And when you're underwriting properties, right, it doesn't really matter where it is. What you need to look, inventory is always going to be important, right?
Right.
So when you're underwriting, knowing how to do so, right, having the resources, not being afraid to use them is key, right? And if you can do those things, I think you're ahead of 75% of the people in the field, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like people that know how to make money in any market, like regardless of actually people that know how to make money, regardless of in a high interest market or low interest market, like you would learn how to make market, right? You would learn how to make money. So for me, let's just say the rates go back down to 2, 3, 4%, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But like when the rates went up, guess who made the most amount of money? I made so much money doing wholesale, doing sub two deals because everybody and their mom and their dad was just giving up their interest rate. Like, just
Right.
take my mortgage payment. Like, I'm underwater. Take my mortgage payment. I'm like, this was literally like I just pick up like $100 bills off the floor without even a problem.
Yeah, because you prepared for the opportunity, right? I think there's a lot of people that need to prepare or can look for a lot of opportunity to prepare for.
Right. I love that. Oh my gosh. You and I speak the same language. I love that. Where do you see like the double closing business headed to? You think they're obviously with wholesale ban, my guess is it's only going to get bigger and bigger, right?
100%. I mean, there's always going to be a demand for it, especially with, people that are newer to the industry, people that, really any type of the passive funding is the goal, right? And I think another great topic, and this is probably another topic for another day, is like, what is the active versus passive income, right? When you go and buy a rental property, right? How involved are you in it, right? How much time does that take for your return on the money, right? Versus your passive income where like a double close, right? How involved were you on this, Kevin, right? Because I think I sent you an email, you connected me with Ken,
Yeah.
and here we are talking about the deal, right? Versus going and buying a rental property, whether it be sub-two traditionally, DSCR, however you want to structure it, how much more involved is that process? And is your money really working for you, right? Or is this just another business that you're opening?
Right, right. And I feel like everybody needs to have some sort of combination of like active and passive income. And I would also I mean, double closing business, I would say you can do it could be categorized as passive or active at the same time because you're not like it's pretty like it's you don't have any hands-on other than just like wiring the money and making a couple phone calls. You know, like
Yeah,
that's probably less work than a rental property. And actually that is way less than a rental property because I have
way
20
less,
yeah, I
way
have
less.
28
And then
rentals.
what's
So
your exposure too, right?
yeah,
I think your exposure, like, the wire's not sent until funds arrive, right? Until the BC funds are there. So your exposure, goes down significantly in that regard. So
100.
there's so many things and factors to look at, when it sounds so sexy and there's so many sexy headlines.
Are you planning on going to all these markets that's going to like you see the trajectory of where the wholesale bans are happening? Do you plan on like moving into those markets? Because now like there will be less people like messing around.
So I don't know that we're necessarily targeting them. South Carolina is a market that we were already in. Oregon is another one. They're in the midst of it, already there. So it's just kind of, the perfect storm. There's a lot of different ways to get around it. You just kind of have to be familiar and have the right team in place, with how to do it and be able to set the right expectations with sellers, right? So and that's a whole nother thing in itself, right? Because my team will do about 100 direct to seller and referral, both direct to seller assignment and novation contracts, and then referral contracts from agents. And when you start getting into different laws, right, and different contracts for each state, the conversations, they're generally the same, but there's details that change, right? There's a lot and expectations that they're setting, right? And when you're doing it at scale, when you start having to set 3 or 4 different expectations in 15 different markets, how scalable can it be,
Right.
right? So that's something else that we've had to look at. So I guess to answer your question, no, it's not. We're not necessarily running after him, but it's definitely something that we leaned into and we see as an opportunity.
When this wholesale ban started coming out 2 years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is bad. I don't know what to do. And then now I see because my mindset has shifted and I'm more abundant. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see how this goes. Like
I'm
I'm like,
right there with you.
yeah, I'm like, shoot, ban wholesale in like all 50 states already.
Yeah.
Like that just means more money. That just means more money, more opportunities for you and me. So
Yep. 100%. I'm like, let's do it. They can't ban buying houses.
that's right, right. And then possibly buyers paying more because there's less wholesalers in the market and they got to keep flipping houses more. I don't know. That's my guess. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. You know.
Yeah. Who knows that? As long as you're looking for opportunity, you'll find it though. I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Right. Right. Um, I do want to keep this video short and sweet to the point because a lot of my viewers are like they love the videos between 20 to 25 minutes. So
But
um, Greg, what are you looking for? What can you bring to the table for other people for the people that are watching? And then like how do they get a hold of you?
yeah, so we run an investment company. We're real estate agents in the state of Arizona. I can give you the spiel and tell you we're the best and we'll give you the best service, which I know my team will, but I think what really sets us apart is uh, on 80% of our transactions, we hire agents to help dispo them for us. So we pay 6%. We don't try to nickel and dime agents. We want to work with the best of the best. So in addition to, not only us just, hey, send me your deals, send me your deals, we work with really good agents and we hire them to get our deals across the finish line. And it really is a team effort. So, in working with us on that end, we also understand the ins and outs and the complexities that not every market's the same, not every transaction's the same. And not every deal is going to be $1 million. That's not what we're in the business of doing. We don't need to make $100,000 every single deal that we look at. If we can realistically help someone and solve a problem and make it a win-win, that's why people really enjoy working with us.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, that's, paying 6% and not nickel and diming, like that is huge. And I mean, you definitely didn't nickel and dime on this deal because you paid the full price. You're okay with $3,000 assignment fee, double close fee. So I really respect that about you. Other people would have been like, you know what, like I'm gonna go and price drop the seller so that I can make more money because I deserve so, and rightfully so. But
Yeah.
I love where your head is at, where you're like, you know what, let me just come service based first. Truly. Okay, well, there you guys have it, guys. If you guys are in need of double closing, my partner and I, we do about 1 to 2 double closes every single week. If you want us to double close your deal, we can do up to about $800,000, and then after 800,000, we have to bring in a different partner. But if you guys are in need of double close, email me. It's kevinchoe2911@gmail.com. That is my personal email. I check it every 2 hours, and we can fund it with basically the same day. And I already got an email. I actually got a request earlier just now from let's see, Lila. She says, Lila Mateen. She says, can you help me double close $1.4 million? Right? We do double closes all the time, and we want to be of service to you guys. If you guys are looking to, Greg, you guys are South Carolina, Arizona, 2 markets.
South Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, North Carolina as well. Florida, we've opened. Ohio, Cincinnati, Columbus areas are really big markets for us. Colorado's a new one, and New Jersey is another one that we'll be looking at. So we're super excited. Nationwide, there's really, a problem that we can't solve. Those ones I just listed are our big direct-to-seller markets that we've got marketing dollars and we do quite a bit of business in. But if there's a problem that we can solve or a question that needs to be answered and we can provide value, don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, guys, there you have it. All those deals, go to Greg. All the double close deals, shoot me an email at kevincho2911@gmail.com. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.